Hey, what's going on, guys? This is One Hand Tech back with another review for you. Today we're taking a look at a case from Raidmax. I'll be taking a look at the Raidmax Alpha. This is an ATX case. It's not been released yet. They sent it to me for the purpose of this review. So let's take a look around the box real quick, and then we'll get it out, go through it, put a build in it, and let you guys know what I think. On the front of the case, you can see some branding in the upper right hand corner, Alpha down in the lower left hand corner. You can see a nice close-up picture of the front intake of the case. I'll go ahead and spin it around to the side. The front and back and both of the front and the back are the same, and the sides are the same. So I'll go ahead and show you one of the sides, and then we'll get it unboxed. Here we are with the side view of the box. As you can see, the case comes in black or white. See some Raidmax branding at the top. You can go through some of the specifications. It has one 5 1/4 inch bay, two 2.5 inch hard drive bays, or two 3.5 or 2.5 drive bays. So you can have four 2.5 inch drives in total, or two 3.5 and two 2.5 drives. Expansion slots is a regular 7 slot layout. It supports ATX, micro ATX, and ITX boards. It also features two USB front panel ports and two HD audio port, one microphone, one headphone. And it has liquid cooling support for 120 to 360 millimeter radiators. At the bottom, you can see the various brandings and the made in China. Alright, guys, we had to look around the box real quick. Let's go ahead and get this thing open, and then I'll be right back. Now you can see we got this thing unboxed. Take a little tour around the outside, then we'll look at the inside, and then we'll throw a build into it. Starting on the side panel, nice huge cutout for an acrylic window. It lets you see all the components in there. Also, over here you can see a power switch, reset switch, power and hard drive activity lights. See plenty of venting here along the side. Let's go ahead and reposition, take a look at the front. Now here on the front you can see a very simplistic design, nice mesh intake on the front. Got your 5 1/4 inch drive bay up here. Some little accent lines on the sides. Here we are on the back side, and you see there's no ventilation or intake air on this side. You got your two USB 3 ports, headphone and microphone jacks. Go on to the back, then we'll get on the inside. Now here we are at the back, guys. As you can see, cut out for your motherboard I/O, 7 expansion slots, mount for a 120 millimeter fan, and your PSU mount. Both side panels are held on with toolless thumb screws. Here's going to be the top of the case. Got a huge mesh cutout on top of the case here, and it has a magnetic dust filter. And as far as the top cooling options go, you can have 220 millimeter or 240 millimeter fans. Alright, guys, let's crack this thing open, take a look around on the inside, see what she's got to offer. Alright, guys, and here's the inside. As you can see, it comes with a pre-installed 120 millimeter fan in the back. Got a huge CPU cutout if you need to exchange your cooler mounting bracket. Your 5 1/4 inch drive bay up here. You got your cable routing holes along the top there. You got this beveled piece here for you to route your cables from the back out to the front of the motherboard tray. And what that does is helps hide the cables coming through, and it also helps with the front airflow going through the back and top of the case. And instead of having those harsh corners, it just blows right over that curve. Down here you can see the PSU cover with mounting holes for 2.5-inch drives. You can also see there's a cutout back here for your VGA power cables. Now this case does accept video cards up to 390 millimeters in length. So no matter what card you have on the market right now, it'll fit in this case without a problem. Here we can switch camera view so you can take a look at the front mounting for the fans. And you have the option for 3 120 millimeter fans or 2 140 millimeter fans in the front there. In the front you have options to mount a 120, 240 or 360 millimeter radiator. Now that is assuming your radiator is not too thick to fit in there, but I do believe you could only do a push or a pull setup. You cannot do push-pull setup just because this cutout here in the PSU shroud is not big enough. I mean, you could modify it to allow you to do that, because there is ample room before you get to the motherboard to accommodate a push-pull setup, but as it comes factory you wouldn't be able to do a push-pull setup. Alright, now we're going to take a look at behind the front panel, and you can see there's a huge LED strip here. It has 15 LEDs on it, and those are 50 by 50 LEDs, and they are RGB LEDs. This LED strip is a rigid LED strip, so it doesn't flex or anything, but it does offer 22 dynamic modes and 20 static colors. We'll get more into seeing how that works later on in the review. As you can see here on the back side, there is your PSU mounting down here, and they do have dampening material in the bottom to help keep rattle at a minimum from your PSU. On the bottom of the PSU there is a dust filter. Right here behind these wires there is your 3.5, there's two 3.5-inch drive sleds that can accommodate 2.5-inch drives, and there's also a accessory box here that we'll take a look at in here in a minute. Taking a look at these hard drive sleds, they are toolless, but they are they're a little bit flexible, but they do seem to, they feel a little bit stiff, like if you bend them too much they're going to snap. Definitely not as flexible as some of the other ones I've felt, but they do have rubber dampening material on the sides to help silence out the vibration of those mechanical drives. As you can see, your USB 3 is the typical USB 3 connection for motherboards. You have your RF module here for the LED strip on the front of the case. Now that RF module allows you to connect and change the colors and the mode of that front LED strip with this remote. This was came in the accessory box that I pulled out. I got another bag of screws, help get anything that you need, some fan screws, some motherboard screws. I don't see any standoffs in there, but they might be hidden in there somewhere. Oh yeah, I see one right there. There's a motherboard standoff. And it also comes with a user manual. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw a build into this case so we can see what it looks like when it's all built up. I'm going to try to do a time lapse. If it works out, you guys will be seeing it here in a second. If not, I'll be back after I'm done building. Now, the time lapse didn't go as the whole time. I do apologize for that, but you've seen how long it recorded. One issue I ran into is my little cheapo power supply for this build doesn't have a long enough 4-pin CPU connector, so I'm gonna have to get an extension for that and route it up. But we can see what the lights look like right now. This is what it looks like when you first power it on. I have not touched anything yet except for the power button. You can see on the front it's got the nice strip in the middle, and it has, this here is not actually air intake mesh. This is an imitation mesh panel, but behind there is a diffuser to help diffuse the light a little bit. All the intake is done along the side here and on the bottom. We go around to this side. You can see that the light is transferring to the inside. You got your SSD down here, and that's a micro ATX motherboard. Everything fit quite nicely. It's a really simple, easy case to build in. One thing that was a little bit different is, as you can see in the time lapse maybe, the connections for the PCI slots. There's screws there, but when you unscrew them, the pieces don't come out to allow you to slide your graphics card in. What you have to do is push on those pieces, and they're like perforated. You push on them and then they'll snap loose and you just pull them out. This is one, let me put this controller down. This is one of the ones, this was on the very first slot up here. And this is what they generally look like in a case. But then after you go to slot 2, this is what you get. You see these little tabs up here and right here. Is there on the thing like that, and then you just push them up and they snap off, and then you're able to slide your graphics card, or in my case wireless card, or what have you, whatever you got to put in there. Now this is my son's build. I took apart his computer. His case was pretty beat up. He doesn't take the best care of things, but he's gonna like this case. I'm sure of it. He has all the chroma stuff from Razer. He likes all the rainbow effect and everything. Let's play around with the remote a little bit. Now on the remote you have the power mode, demo, which is what I think it's on now. Speed minus, speed plus, color minus, or color plus, bright plus, mode minus, color minus, bright minus, and then the 7 solid colors. So let's change it to white. The white looks pretty good. It looks a little bit different from the inside to the front. And see, this is the front. To me it looks like it has a little bit of a pink hue. I'm not sure how that's coming out on the camera. You slide over here and it's got a nice white light on the inside. That one's hovering on a little bit on the blue side. So that's a little bit strange. Let's go to red. Red's nice, even on the inside and the out, or on the front panel and on the inside of the case. You go to green. Green is nice as well. Blue. Blue is really good. What color is that? Pink. The pink is kind of pink. Go to light blue. The light blue looks really good. And yellow. The yellow has a little bit of an orange tint to it. Now let's hit mode. Hit the mode plus button. Hit the mode plus button again. Holy moly. Hit it again. Again. And cycle through all these modes for you guys. I think that's all of the modes. I see, like these breathing ones, it says 22 modes, but as you're going through the modes, it's just switching the colors. The effect is still the same. That one's pretty cool. Alright, let's hit speed minus, slow it down. Let's change to a different mode so we can see that better. Alright, speed it up. And turn the brightness down. Let's turn on a solid color so we can see this. Let's go with the pink. Okay, brightness down. A little bit of flicker there as it's whenever you first hit the button. The same thing coming back up. Nice, nice. You can also change the color instead of using, there's only 7 preset colors, but there's 20 different colors that this can do. So then you use the color plus and minus to cycle through those. Having the RGB feature built into the cases is really nice, especially for people who are like my son that like to have the customization. Now this solid LED strip comes installed in the alpha case from Raidmax, and it operates off this controller. But if you go onto Raidmax website, you can also buy flexible LED strips that have the RF controller as well. And what you can do, those ones are flexible, so you can put them anywhere in the case and hide them away so they look nice. But you can also run the hard LED strip that comes pre-installed in the case, as well as the flexible LED strips that you buy from Raidmax. You can run both LED strips from the same controller, and you can sync them up. But just the way it is now, without no front fans installed in the case, there's quite a bit of light coming through to the inside of that case. I'm not too sure if I would want to add any more LED strips in there. Now what I might do is put some fans in the roof of the case and make it a negative pressure case, since the front or we actually pull in from the top. That's what we could do, pull cool air in from the top and have it exhaust out the front and the bottom of the case. That way it has a dust filter, because it has that magnetic dust filter on the top of the case. Alright guys, that's going to about wrap it up for the review of the Raidmax Alpha case. One thing I did forget to mention is that 3.5-inch hard drive cage that is in the bottom and underneath the power supply cover is removable. You have 4 screws on top of the power supply cover and 4 on the bottom of the case. You remove those and the hard drive cage will just slide right out. Now for micro ATX motherboards, you will have to move the standoffs as you see in the time lapse. You have to move the standoffs to the correct position because they're not, they're in there for the regular ATX motherboard from the factory. All in all, I think this is a pretty cool case. I've not ever had a case that came stock with RGB lighting in it. The way it's done is pretty nice, although I think the lighting on the inside of the case would be less effective if there was fans and a radiator in the front. The case is super easy to build in, and it has that cable routing channel to help the air flow through the case and help hide your cables coming through from the back of the case. It still does have one 5¼ inch drive bay for those who need that. It has 7 expansion slots, plenty of room for expansion. Water cooling is there. You can do 120, 240, or 360 radiator in the front with 1 set of fans. You could also do a 120, 240 in the top with 1 set of fans, and you could also do a 360 in the top, but you might have issues depending on the thickness of your radiator and your fans with that 5¼ inch bay. But if you're using that 5¼ inch bay, then the most you can get is a 240mm radiator in the top. You have the 120mm fan installed from the factory in the back of the case, and you could also put one 120mm in the floor of the case if you remove that hard drive cage. Well guys, that's going to about wrap it up for the Raidmax Alpha case. As soon as this product launches, I'll post the link in the description for you guys to go pick yourself up one. Make sure you guys leave a comment, questions down below. I will get the answers for you and get back to you as soon as possible. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see more reviews and tutorials and things like that coming out. I still have quite a few products. I've just been moving and everything, haven't had a chance to record too much lately. But make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see whenever I post again. Until next time guys, have a good one.